Hello and welcome to the show and tell of my portfolio from LTDE 5317. I learned a lot over the course of this term regarding technology integration and adaptive learning. For this class, I organized my Weebly page into sections and will briefly go over each one with you and reflect on what I've learned in each assignment. First, I have my list of adaptive strategies that I researched. This assignment is great for me because it pushed me to investigate tools that I've never used before, as well as think about how teachers of different content areas could use them. I discovered several new tools that I would like to use in the future and have bookmarked them for future use. It was also great looking at what others in the class discovered in the process, as well as we all come from different backgrounds, and as a result can give their perspectives into the effectiveness of various tools. Next, I have my adaptive learning tool tutorial. I selected a tool for my strategies list and had a great time playing around with it and discovering new ways to use it. This assignment was helpful because it pushed me out of my comfort zone. Additionally, having to create the tutorial meant I had to think about how various teachers would use the same material for their content areas. This video is a great exercise for thinking like an instructional designer, specifically when it comes to discovering new materials and pitching them to administration and teachers. Now I can move on to the unit plan. This process was interesting for me as I took a project and topic that I've taught previously and looked for new ways to make it more engaging and valuable for students. I challenged myself to create the unit plan based around Spanish for students rather than AP or lower level Spanish because I wanted to make sure I incorporate the grammar focus as well as the cultural learning. When designing my unit, I had to think about which grammar concepts would be necessary for the students to learn and what would be the best way to include them all while pushing the students to answer the essential questions. In my unit overview, you can see I broke down the grammar and cultural concepts for each day so I can make sure to hit everything needed. It's important to keep in mind that obviously some things will change based off of student needs. Having an outline can help find the best time to integrate additional assistance. The final project is something I've modified from what students have done in the past. Originally, I'd only had students present their topics to class, but I like the idea of having them create a teaser trailer as well. Many of my students love creating video projects or being creative in some way, so I like to give them the opportunity to push themselves in new ways. There would also be a written exam, but that would focus on the grammar learned during the unit. The project focuses on their production ability as well as incorporating culture into their class. Finally, I have my lesson incorporating gamification. This past year, I used games frequently with my students to keep them engaged and monitor their progress. Creating this lesson was a great way for me to be more intentional with my lesson planning and understand why gamification works so well for students. Looking at others' lesson plans also helped me think of new ways I could incorporate games as well as new games I could try with my students. Overall, I learned a lot during this course and look forward to applying it to my lessons in the fall. The adaptive tools list will be especially beneficial as I can use it to find new materials to support my students and keep them engaged in the classroom. Thank you for listening.